So you nab one. You have successfully risen from one of the Jumanji levels, from seeking to be with someone and going through the myriad of dating apps, meet and greets, whatever mode of operation that you used to get your man woman. You've reached Jumanji level 4. I don't know how many levels there are, but you're on the next level, right? You're dating, you're feeling good, you're in a relationship, you're successfully not on any other apps, and you believe that your significant other is not on any other apps because how much time is in a day that you have that you can do this, right? So, what's the next step? It's not meeting the parents yet. No, no, that's later. You have decided to merge your life together and you want to move in together. Yeah. Now, this could be a ritual for either he or her that has been done before with other partners, or this could be the first time for either one of you or both of you that you have decided to move in together before marriage. It's a big step. It's huge. And for someone that has done it unsuccessfully several times between moving in with someone and getting married before moving in with them, I am here to tell you I am no expert on this subject at all. Shocking. Hmm. I have no idea what's right or wrong. I couldn't tell you because I have not been able to figure out the clue to get me past that level. I've done the moving in before marriage that dropped off on the wayside, and I did the marriage before moving in. And well, I'm a happily divorced woman at 56 years old, and there's nothing else to stop me from saying that I would like to say to each his own. But because this is a new era, technology can ruin many relationships more than actual money or moving in because you don't know who you're dealing with. Who's this person? Are they still in line? Do they have fake names under the other dating apps and they're still sneaking away dating other people? Hmm. But you're taking a risk. You're jumping. Well, not so much a risk. You need to move to the next level. And conventionally, it would be back in the olden days. You had courting, and then you met the parents, or either or simultaneously, and then you would get married, and then you would move together in to your prospective whatevers, and then shit just blew up from there because you don't know who you're dealing with, you don't know what their idiosyncrasies are. Do they leave the toilet roll paper up or down? Do they leave the toilet seat up or down? Do they clean up after themselves? Do they expect you to do all the heavy lifting, literally and figuratively, and that could be either male or female? Do they leave their underwear scattered about or on the shower door or on the shower handle? Do they know how to cook? Do they know how to clean? Are you just in it because you think you're going to get a lot of boudoir sessions? You're not. You might for the first, I'm going to give it respectively 6 months. You may be bunking like rabbits because it's all still new. Then the little things start to creep in. I call them the romance busters, where the day to day starts taking away from the do to do. And what does that mean? Well, someone needs to clean the house. Someone needs to throw out the trash. Someone needs to refill the refrigerator and not leave empty bottles or cans or anything else in there to remind you to go pick it up because you're the only one shopping. Someone needs to figure out, how do we pay the bills? Who's paying what percentage of what bill? Do we have a lease under our name? Do we have a house under our name? What's going on? What's happening? We're not married. Okay? These are all little things that people tend to forget when they're boinking their rabbit brains out and they're so excited about moving in before marriage. There's no legal contract. You can get kicked out at any point of this relationship. And everything that you invested, every potted plant, every 36-inch television, everything is up for grabs. All of it. You may be out in the street because you never even put your name on the lease. Or you may be one of those people that say, you know what, it's easier if I leave. I'll figure it out. I'll sleep in my car. I got a friend who has a couch. But before we get that, let's take a look at the opinions of several people who can go either way. And again, because I'm no expert, I have failed at both, I can successfully say I hear it all. Hey, by the way, my name is Lena and welcome to my channel. And I hope that you enjoy this. This is my ongoing series of dating in this day and age of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and the internets. And above Generation X, the way that I grew up, because I had a different experience in dating. And I hope that if you enjoyed this, I have a whole dating series. I will put it at the playlist at the end of my video. Or if you want to take a look at some other things that I talk about, because as I said, I am not a one niche type of girl. But this is an ongoing joy for me because I don't have anybody. I'm alone. I'm single. And I got to talk about this because I will not dip my toe into the shark infested waters of dating. Not an app, not a meet and greet. Pretty soon, probably bingo. That's where I'm headed, people. I won't do it. I'm scared. I'm a little scared because even when you meet someone, getting to know you, getting to know all about you is exhausting. It's exhausting. So I hope that you enjoy this content and you would consider if I bring value to you by the end of this video or in the middle or right now, that you would consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and for the love of God, hyping, which I am convinced does nothing. Y'all can tell me whatever you want. I have no clue what it does. So let's take a look at two perspectives of people who are for and against. Stay tuned.
Do not move in together. That's too easy. Go through the whole deal. Get married. I don't care who the other significant is. You've got to really build something together, make a commitment, and then fight to keep it. Of course, you're going to have tough times. And it's easy if you've just moved in together to just walk away. But if you're married, that's much tougher. That's why marriage works all around the world. Not so easy to get out of, and it makes you fight to stay together. Think about that. Thank goodness you know me.
When should you move in with your partner?
I don't know, 3-4 months. My partner and I was 1 to 2 months.
3 years, book it off work, 3 years, you're in.
We actually moved in together quite quickly. It was about 9 months, but actually we've now been married for nearly 13 years.
I'd have to go 3.5.
I moved in with my ex like 2 weeks after. Well, we're not together anymore, so years.
Yeah.
Years.
Like a year and a half, 2 years, I think I'd say.
A long time.
Yeah.
I think early on, then you know. 18 months, yeah. I think that's not weird.
Year or two, maybe? I don't think it's weird at all, but also it just has to be right. If it's right, it's right.
Well, the first one, I think his name is Mr. Wonderful or Mr. Terrific. I don't know why I feel that that's his name. I know him. I think he's on Shark Tank. I should know him. I should have done research, but that would require me giving a shit. He has an interesting perspective. I think that it's very old school to believe that, once you get married, it's harder for you to leave. Otherwise, why are more than 50% of marriages failing? For a long time now. Not just now. Since before I was born. Well, no. Generation X, we suffered the divorce apocalypse. Okay? I think it's more difficult when you have assets. And clearly, I know he has assets, but that's what prenups are for. Us broke people, our prenup is PlayStation, television, maybe the pet. And if you have a vehicle, it's not under your name, you're screwed. That's the broke people word. That's how prenup work. We don't got no assets. So, the theory of it's more difficult to leave, I grew up with a single mom. My dad left. He ran. He didn't have a problem. Most of my generation didn't have a problem. They would, if they were lucky, they would see their parents. I covered that in my Generation X video, okay? Which I will leave on the playlist as well. We were latchkey kids, so I don't understand where he's coming from. I hear him. I appreciate his premise, but clearly he has some skin in the game when he believes that moving in before marriage could be detrimental to, I believe, your financial health. The hell with your mental health, but your financial health. Okay. Now, the second clip, time-wise, how soon in my community and anybody else that has not subscribed and are just watching because they like to watch me. Um, when was the last time that you moved in with someone quickly? And what is quickly to you? Again, subjective. I'm going to say anything between 1 month to 6 months is way too soon, unless they're extenuating circumstances. What they are, it's up to you. You could be being kicked out, evicted, which, it's not the right way to move in with someone, but it's a plan. I would question your reasoning why you're getting kicked out and evicted. I'm just saying. It could be that he's moving or she's moving and you don't want to be away from him and you love him and you want to be with him or her the whole time and you decide to uproot your life and move. Sure. Do I believe that it will be successful? Well, depends. Everyone has their tolerance level. And in the next clips that we will show you, I will show you some of the tolerance levels that when you move in with them, reality. So 1 month to 6 months is too soon. I think after 6 months, you should have a much more stable relationship as far as you both agree that you're not seeing other people in a contract. Mm-hmm. Because just because they say they're not seeing other people doesn't mean they're not. That you are regularly with each other, whether it's his place, your place, out and about, friends, whatever. You should know his friends. You should have each other on speed dial on your smartphones. Okay. There has to be a level of comfortability where, you've slept with each other in each person's home. You know how they snore. You know how they fart in bed. You know how they take their breakfast. There's a level of, okay, I could live with this amount of farting and this amount of generalization of disgustingness. Because you'd be surprised what you learn about people when you move in with them. And even still, when you are with them in that short amount of time, in the 6 months they may be still on good behavior. You may have not fully seen the person without makeup, hair done. They're still wearing sexy lingerie and shaving. They may be playing that I'm the perfect princess, I'm the perfect prince role. But, you should see some cracks, especially when they're sleeping or when they think that you're sleeping. Yeah, baby. That's when you really realize what's going on over there. I'm just saying. I'm going to say after a year of this constant waiting for the prince to fall off his horse or the princess to come out and looking like Medusa, if you're still inclined to be happy with this person and you're still having regular sex, and you're comfortable with the 80% you're getting, which I've also done a video, versus the 20% that may be lacking, moving in with that person might be a considerable idea. Again, you may have met the parents, you may have not. A lot of people don't like to meet the parents. You know what I'm talking about. But you have merged your life. But do you know, for those who are still in the dark, if this person has moved in and you didn't realize it? Wow. Or when you make the decision to actually move in with this person, do you have a checklist? Well, I got 2 clips for you to answer both questions. So, little.
Once he starts leaving shoes and do-rags at your house, that means you about to get a new roommate. And if he brings his PlayStation over there, you might as well get that man a key.
I don't care what anybody says. Argue with me in the comments. There are certain things that people should do before they move in together, before they decide to get married, and before they have a baby. And I said it in that order for a reason. There is no way anybody should ever be living in your house or you living in their house or y'all getting a house together without you pulling their criminal background and without you pulling their credit. I said what I said. You will move in with a man or a woman only to find out they got a record a mile long. And now the next time that the sheriff got to serve them, they coming to serve them at your house. The next time they got a warrant out, they kicking in your door. You need to know these things for sure. And there is no way anybody who has a clean background or has a clean credit report or whatever would ever have a problem with you verifying that, because you should be offering them the same. That's one. Two, there is no way you should legally tie yourself to a man or a woman without knowing what kind of debt they're in. There's no way that you should say I do to a man or a woman without knowing financially where they stand. Because this woman could look you in your face and say, I don't have any debt, I'm cool. And now y'all are married, living together, and all of this woman's debt is now technically added to your debt. How? Y'all are in the same household, y'all share the same last name. Do y'all know how many men are in arrears for child support? Nobody ever knows until that man gets married and filing jointly with his wife, and their tax return is snatched and she didn't know. Do you know how many people have things that are in collections? They have liens against property because nobody is double checking. You need to verify those things. And as a woman that has decided to have a baby with a man, you need to make sure that you are going to be secure. And that's why we need to see bank statements. That's why we need to see checking account balances, savings accounts balances. This is not for just the little thing you're talking to on the weekend. These are requirements for wives and the mothers of your children, because as a man, I know you don't want me having to work on my feet 9 months pregnant, right? I know you don't want me having to rush to go back to work and the baby is barely 6 weeks old because you didn't fully discuss what the money looked like. That is how women gain security, knowing that my man has it. We got X amount of dollars in savings, X amount of dollars in a checking account. So I'm comfortable sitting at home for 3 months. I'm comfortable attaching to him. You are comfortable attaching to her. It's for both of y'all to have full disclosure so you can make the best decision. Period.
So the first clip, the guy, if I'm not going to say leaving personal items, intimacy items is a key flag. Do-rag, socks, underwear, that's just day-to-day habits, right? You need your stuff to get out of the house, to go wherever you do what you do, hopefully when you're out of the house. But I do agree when they start bringing over their, what they consider assets, PlayStation, televisions. I think men are really simple like that. Once they start bringing the stuff that makes them stay home, or things that they would normally do when you're not with them, they've moved in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, as for the man trying to figure out if a woman moved in, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna say, again, hygiene, personal items they need because you're staying with each other a couple of days out of the week. They need their stuff, right? Because they're going to work or the gym or whatever they do when you're not with them, hopefully. So they need, stuff. We don't wake up like this. I don't care what Beyonce says. Okay. We do not look like this in the morning. We need a whole drawer. Let's be realistic, and space in the bathroom. Okay. I'm going to say once they start bringing items that you normally wouldn't keep as a man, candles. Yeah. When you start seeing candles, that's a sign. When you start seeing items in the kitchen, hopefully, because either one of you are cooking and she may not be happy with the stuff that you have, or she's a good cook and then she starts bringing over her pots and pans, you're done. She moved in. That's how I think of it. I know I'm missing another item for women. It could be, changing the towels because your towels are not great. All of a sudden you have guest towels. Like, but wait, are you not still a guest? What the hell is guest towels for? Or when they start saying our friends are coming over and it's her friends and she forgot to invite your friends for whatever night, game night, dinner night, you're done. She's moved in. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb on the second clip. I believe that she has a lot of valid points. I believe also that she has been traumatized. Okay. I have never thought before moving in with someone, before even getting married or when I was married, to do a criminal background check or a credit check. Never. Not once. I should have. I maybe did, but it was not something I can just run to my local something and do when I decide to move in with someone to know if he has an eviction. She brings up a lot of good points. How feasible it is, it would depend on the person. If you're traumatized or anal, it could be a possibility, and it should be reciprocal. You each, go to your local fingerprinting, credit checking place and put it in a envelope marked confidential, and then you decide to meet for dinner and you swap file folders and pray that that folder that you're getting from this person that you have decided to merge your life with doesn't have a big old sign, warning, warning. But you have to do it in a space that's not the place that you plan to live in, because if it's at least if you're out, you can run for the hills and get the hell away from him, and he will not or she will not be able to move in with you. If you do it in the place that you plan to move into, you may not make it out the next day. What else do you want me to tell you? Because imagine if you get a criminal background check and you realize that this guy has a criminal background check and one of it is possible, life threatening. Or you may not like the credit check and you realize that a credit score of 300 may not be the person that you want to trust to help you with the bills. I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that she said that she was right about. It's just in the tone that she said it, she scared the crap out of me. Just chipitito. Okay? But she had her points. And with the marriage and making sure that this person has enough money so you can have babies and then you can stay home for whatever amount of time, I would hope that you had this discussion before you had the baby. And this is after marriage. It's not even when you're married. Okay? We'll do a separate series of what to expect when you're married. But again, these are all conversations that, as uncomfortable as they may be, as unsexy as they may be. Listen, I'm going to say something. When you want to have an uncomfortable conversation, okay, do it in public. And then when you get home, you put on the sexiest lingerie, underwear, silk, whatever, put the candles on that has indicated that you've moved in with them, whether they know it or not. Make sure that that meal that they had is not as good as yours, but he's willing to accept, or she's willing to accept whatever paraphernalia you got going on here, because you've both agreed that this is going to happen. And this should happen in every uncomfortable situation. Have it outside of the home. Your home needs to, because you're not, you can't have these conversations in your home, because then it festers. It's like a negative energy. You start having these thoughts. At least if you're outside, and hopefully you're not throwing water or alcohol at them or food, you're not slapping the shit out of them, you should have a mature conversation over a nice dinner and just say, let's talk. So when you get home, your home is not filtered with all this animosity, hopefully. Again, I'm not an expert, because if I was, this would be a different show. But this is how I would redo it in my head, because my home is my happy place and I'm a hermit. So I have hair coming out of my face. Sorry. If I were to have that anger inside encapsulated, and then it's the constant, and then you have to decide if you want to go to bed angry, it's a lot of things. Because at least if you're outside, if you want to go for a walk and leave this person, you can go for a walk and leave this person. It's not going to be no trauma for you. Okay. Then you go home, and again, make that place a happy place. And hopefully you won't go to bed angry, or you could have angry sex, to each his own. So you've done the criminal check. You've done the credit check. You've done the eviction check. You've realized that unbeknownst to you, you've been fighting this, that you have a roommate, because of everything that we talked about of things being left between the male and the female, you moved in together. Yay! You're still on the same Jumanji level. It's just that, there's steps to these levels, okay? So you're in the I've moved in with him phase. Reality sets in. Like I said, who's doing what? Where's the plan? Is there a list? Do I get a gold star? Do I get extra sex or no sex? Do you want to kill me? Should I sleep in another room? Is there another room? Invest in an air mattress. All I'm saying. Okay? Because even if you sleep on the couch, it may not be enough for you. Because at least with an air mattress, you can take it with you when you leave. I'm just saying. You always have a place to sleep if you have an air mattress. No trauma. Or past trauma. So let's take a look at these next clips of what happens when you have settled into your relationship. They don't.
Nice and neat.
Hey, can you take out the trash?
Yes, just give me 2 minutes.
Fine, I'll just do it myself, you fucking lazy piece of fucking shit! You fucking pussy ass bitch! Get off your fucking ass, loser!
What? It didn't fit.
Getting to know you. Getting to know all about you. Getting to hate you. Getting to slap the shit out of you is what happens when you are settled into your relationship and you've moved in together, whether you're married or not. Because each one of these clips resonated with me. All of them. All of them has happened to me. Vacuuming, because if I don't vacuum, I didn't have iRobot at the time. I had to vacuum. And of course, each person that I moved in with has made the conscious decision to be an idiot savant. Okay? They're flipping, they're turning, they're jumping, they're falling, they're making a mess right after I finish vacuuming. Could be why I'm single, amongst other things. Or if they seemingly try to help you, they could make it worse, never better. Or you can just get the shit slapped out of you inadvertently because, hey, getting to know you is real. Or you could be the dutiful person that is doing the laundry, folding the laundry eloquently, and you place it beautifully. And, I can say either he or her, but let's go with the he in this scenario, can go in and not even realize that the clothes are folded because they're animals. And they just undo everything that you have done. When do you give up? Well, I go back to you take them out, you get them drunk, you have a conversation, you come home, and you pray that they remember the next day. Because if they continuously do that, you're just going to walk away. Walk away. Run, Forrest, run. Okay. Because she or he, well, mostly she, will go after you. And if you get her on one of her days, I pray for you. I really do. Because I want to make something clear about when we women are on our monthly flow and it's coming. It's not that we become crazy. It's just that every other day before that happens, we have a tolerance level that is unacceptable to us in the sense that we put up with a lot of crap. Okay. But when Flo comes to town, she comes with a vengeance. And it's not that you've changed. is that you've been doing the same crap over and over again. At it. We don't care. We will kill you. We will hunt you down like a puma and rip you into pieces, like a monkey in a banana tree. Okay? It's not that, we all of a sudden have been, enlightened by your idiocy. No, 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 no. Okay? It's just that point, our tolerance level is down the floor. Now, with respect to men, you men have your menstruating times, okay, where your testosterone level is through the roof or down the floor, and you become irate, upset, and you just either shut us out, walk out, go for a walk, go for a run, disappear, sit downstairs in your man cave or upstairs in your PlayStation cave or whatever the hell it is, and you have learned to tune us out, which is a skill that is really, really good. And if you have a manual of how to do that, please share it with the rest of us, because I would love to be able to learn that, because I hear everything. I don't know how to tune anything out. It's not a skill that we are born with, us women. You guys are good. I'm actually pretty good in certain things, like when it comes to my son, when he was teenager-ish, and he would say, Mom, I said this. I said, did I respond? Did I nod my head? Did I say, yeah, that makes sense? Because if you get nothing out of that, I didn't hear you. That's a mom skill. Unless you hear fire or some other warning word, you could be flying around like Superman and I wouldn't even know. I'm sorry. Single parents, you know what I'm talking about. You know. Okay. Um, so, it's a matter of how much conversation you had before you realize that you've moved in. You've moved in, you're married, it's a day-to-day process. Do you give up? Do you throw your hands out? Do you just say, you know what, you animal, I'm just going to leave the clothes on the floor and you just figure it out from there? I would do that. Or do you actively work on this process? Because it's a process. Before you get to the next Jumanji level, which I will do in another video, because there's another Jumanji level. Oh yes, there's many of them, okay? Until you get to the point of death do you part. That's maybe when you find some sort of respite. Maybe. Because I know I'll come back as a ghost. I'll haunt the shit out of you. Especially if you piss me off. So if there's nothing else that you've learned from this next clip should be the one that explains why you should do some sort of background check on your significant other. Either way, male or female. Let's take a look. And hey, I hope you're enjoying this and you would consider subscribing. Stay tuned.
I just moved into my girlfriend's house, and it's absolutely terrifying because she has so much power over me now. Like, if I piss her off, she might end up telling my wife.
And I will leave you with that. Because if that does not make you very aware that this person may have a wife and he has moved in with you, and it could go either way. It could be a wife, husband, husband, wife, 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 husband, husband. You may now understand why having some sort of background check, some spyware, following them, maybe a little creepy. But this has happened before. Not to me, but to people that I know. You know what I'm talking about. And you're not the side chick. You thought you were the main one. And all of a sudden you wake up and the main one is knocking on your door. Can I have my husband back? And that's if you're lucky that they say it that way. Take that and run with it. Run far. Again. So I leave you with this. There is no right way to explain when you should move in together. What's the right time before you decide if you're going to get married first, if you're going to be moved in, if you're going to move in first, or have they moved in and you don't realize it yet, and now all of a sudden you're trying to backtrack and do an eviction credit criminal check. Could be anything. I can only tell you for my unsuccessful attempts of many relationships, not many, I'm not a whore. Sorry, I'm not. That I don't know the left or the right. All I know is that I'm okay. Because for every relationship that I've done and has failed, has brought me to here. to you, to bring this to you, and to realize that I'm not alone. For a long time, I thought I was crazy. No. Because the beautiful thing about the internet, the YouTube, the TikTok, and the Instagram is that everybody overshares and everybody explains everything over and over and overly. And it makes me feel not alone, even though it's way past my prime. But I'm glad to know that nothing has changed. Relationships are still complicated. They're still difficult. You still don't know what you're doing. And you just shoot and hope for the best and pray that you can take your PlayStation, your TV, and your candles back. So I hope you enjoyed this content. There's more coming on this dating series because we're not done with this. Oh, you were done with this Jumanji level. There's another one coming. And I hope that you decide, if you haven't, subscribe, enjoy my wonderful community, and come back and see me sometime. And if you want, you can meander around my playlist and see what other topics that may tickle your fancy. Because like I said, I'm not a one niche type of girl. So to everyone, I want you to have a wonderful weekend, blessed week, month, year. Because from here to around the world, thank you for not letting me feel alone. And there, you're not alone. You might be crazy, but you're not alone. Thank you, everyone.